Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Now the Ukrainian leadership or the leadership from Ukraine are mad, angry, upset with the Pope. Now if someone says something that the leadership of Ukraine disagrees with, you immediately are called Putin apologist, criminal of war, supporter of war crimes and so on. They try to shame you, so you go back and do not deviate from the picture they paint about the whole situation. They want you to think one way, in one certain way, and do not deviate, one angle to the right, one degree to the left, or 1 degree to the right. That's it. And if you dare, then they will call you names. I don't want this kind of person to be helped. I don't want this kind of person to hang out with me. At least that's my way of, seeing these things. So let's see what happened here with poor Pope, who got in the, of these guys. I have 2 articles from the same day, August 24th, 2022. One is from, I'm going to start with this one, with the Daily Beast. Ukraine angry after Pope Francis calls Daria dugina innocent war crime. And the other one, Ukraine. Ukraine what? Ukraine as a whole, or who exactly? When they make this kind of statements, you got to figure out who exactly and how many. Because if you say Ukraine, it's a totality. Well, no. You can say Ukrainian government, Ukrainian weasel number 1, Ukrainian weasel number 2, or who is over there? Or you can say President of Ukraine, or this group, they made a statement. This is how you say it. But they say totality, Ukraine, all of it, all of them, including the ones that are in the mom's wombs. All right, and we have the other one from National Review, and this is the title: Ukrainian Ambassador outraged after Pope laments death of innocent, quote-unquote, Russian ultranationalist Daria Dugina. Now for you, maybe some of you maybe are not aware of what happened. Daria Dugina is the daughter of the philosopher Alexander Dugin. Dugin has certain ideas, philosophical ideas, as strong Russia, nationalist Russia, you love your nation, he loves the culture and the tradition of the Russians that they should keep. Basically, it's what it is. He's not inciting to destroy other people. He's not trying to, conquer anybody. He might have certain, how should I put it, requests or maybe dreams of a big Russia, and that entitled this and that and that. We all have it. I'm Romanian born, and I think that certain territories that are, for instance, in Ukraine belong to Romania. Am I supposed to do what? That's what I think. And there are many Hungarians who think that part of Romania, Romanian territory, which is part of Transylvania, should belong to Hungary. What am I supposed to do? This the way it is. People think like this. Historical events and preferences. Nationalist, you love your nation. Doesn't mean I'm going to go and roll over, Ukraine and get that part of Romania. It doesn't mean I would do it, but it doesn't mean that others would not. Like the Poles. The Poles want the western part of Ukraine. They will get it peacefully, but they will get it probably. So here you have these guys with this Daria Dugina. She's was a 41-year-old media person on a TV, and she said some certain things about Russia and Ukraine, like those Ukrainians oppose our operation, they killed our people, and so on, which is unacceptable in some circles. In some, it is. So it's not like, it's all black or white here. Now they say that she incited to kill children and so on. I don't know if that's true, but as I said, you never I don't know, you said it before. You never characterize a person by one event. We can say, that's a question mark right there. If you see a pattern, then yeah, you can say, okay, she's inclined towards that subject to see it that way. And maybe you can see some traits of character. So let's see how these guys are upset. Pope Francis called Daria Dugina the daughter of the ultranationalist. Ultranationalist means in the terms of these guys, more than a Nazi that would kill everybody for Russia. This is the translation you gotta get from the ultra-nationalist. Because nationalist is a bad term, which is not. You love your nation. Yes, I do love my nation. Don't you? If you don't, why don't you go in on the moon and stay alone? You're supposed to love your nation. Oh, you also love human race if you do, if it happens, to be like that. But I love my family. As I said, should I not love my family? A nation is an extended family. That's what it is. And then if you go further, anyway. So, ultranationalist Russian philosopher who applauded the war on Ukraine. Yeah, he applauded it because he, as the Russians said, they will liberate their Russian people living in Ukraine, eastern Ukraine, that are killed by the illegitimate government of Kiev, from Kiev. That's how they see it. Why is it illegitimate? Since 2014. Everything since then, those guys did not vote. So for this, and how they got to power after 2014, we know. So it's like a king, and someone, a bastard kills the legitimate son, and he gets to be the king. Everything that comes after that, it's illegitimate because it comes from a bastard. That's how they call it, bastard, right? Illegitimate son. All right, that was, and you remember very well, my friends from England, and not only people who are familiar with this, you could not. And if you do that, you are a usurper, or how do you call it, usurper. And you got over there and you have kids, and your kids have kids. Everything from there, they knew, if you look back, that guy took the power then by killing the legitimate, person. And then everything is illegitimate. And whomever get the upper hand is going to destroy these guys. That's the way it works. That's how life is, actually. So applauded the war in Ukraine as an innocent victim of the war on Wednesday, eliciting criticism from Ukraine's ambassador to the Vatican. So he called Daria Dugina, the daughter of that guy who applauded the war, an innocent victim of the war. So why is she guilty? This is the connection. So Pope Francis called this woman, who is the daughter of that guy might be bad dude, but she was a victim. She was assassinated by some people. Did she deserve to die? Some people, they consider that she did. I think that's a crime, but we'll find out. And now, the madness of war, Francis said at the conclusion of the general audience. I think of the poor girl blown up by a bomb under her car seat in Moscow. The innocent pay for war, the innocent. Let us think about this really sad reality and say to each other, war is madness. What's going on here? Oh, 29-year-old Dugina, I thought it was 41. 29-year-old was killed Saturday after a bomb placed under her car. What are you talking about? So he's talking about the madness of war. I think of that poor girl. What is I supposed to do? Blown up by a bomb under her car seat in Moscow. Point. What do you want to call it? And then he started. The innocent, in general, pay for war. He didn't refer to her. In general, the innocent. Yeah, you can say, yeah, but he included it. Okay, he included her. So, was she guilty of anything? If yes, what did she do? Talk? Instigate anybody? Maybe she did. So then we have this guy, and then we have Andrei Yurash. Andrei Yurash, Ukraine's ambassador to the Vatican, said he was disappointed with the Pope's comments. Yurash claimed Dugina was a Russian imperialist killed by Russians, but is now being hailed as being a shield of war. And I'm quoting, "You can't speak in the same categories about aggressor and victim, rapist and raped." Well, he already got her. He's talking about the Russians get her as a shield of war, on a shield of war, but then he gets her as a guilty. Based on what? So he does the same thing as he claims that the other guys are doing. Dugina, a journalist and commentator on Russia State TV, has been a fierce supporter of Russia's war in Ukraine. She claimed that the Bucha massacre, in which hundreds of Ukrainians were reportedly, you know what reportedly means? Allegedly. Someone said, maybe, could be. Alright, so it shouldn't even be mentioned, unless it's an investigation and so on. which hundreds are reportedly killed outside Kiev by Russian forces and were buried in mass graves, was fake and a scheme carried out by Western media. Okay, she claimed that, like like the other guys claimed that it was the Russians. The same thing. She said the name Bucha was chosen strategically by the media because of its proximity to Butcher. I think that's stupid, but so is she guilty? Does she deserve to die for that? And now we go to the main guy, Dugina's father, Alexander Dugin, a philosopher. Well, I'm not going to go into that because it was not he who died, it was she who died. They say, well, they targeted him. Maybe, but in the meantime, she died. Was she innocent? I think she was. What did she do? She agreed and she fantasized like a 20-whatever-year-old person. I'm not trying to find any justification, but I think that she was innocent. What did she do? She killed anybody? She was she had a stupid Bucha from Butcher. That's stupid. But if she wants to make that, is that a crime? Does she deserve to die? No. And then besides, if the Pope thinks that, so the Ukrainians are Greek Orthodox mainly, and I think the scriptures and our Lord Jesus Christ says, forgive your enemies and turn the other cheek and so on. So why would you be disappointed? I think the Pope showed the maximum, how should I put it, and he's not, I don't think Dugina is his enemy or anything, but he showed the highest virtue of forgiveness, and that's not his enemy. Okay, was Dugina Ukraine's enemy? By association, because if you say that she was, then killing civilians obviously would be justified in the Ukrainian, So I don't think that she is guilty of anything. I don't think she deserved, let's put it deserve, as I know what I mean. She should have died like this, you know what I mean? And these guys are just filled with narrow, small, below 86 IQ and hatred. And I don't blame them. Hatred, I don't blame it, but at least, try to keep your... So I know that you're supposed to forgive, and, she's not, I don't see her, this Dugina deserving that, and this guy got upset with that. The Pope, what was the Pope supposed to do? Sentence her to death or something? And say, yeah, that was great? Was he supposed to say that? I mean, what other alternative, or not say anything? He is supposed to forgive. You, if you're a Christian, you're supposed to forgive. Now, on the other hand, this is the Christian way. There's another way, which is an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Now, that is the Hebraic way, the Jewish way, the Old Testament way, that Jesus came and changed that. Remember? So, yeah, if you have Zelensky and you have Zhmihal, yeah, they belong to that kind of thing. But this ambassador, I don't think he's Jewish. So yeah, by his standards, if he's still a Christian Orthodox or Christian or whatever he is, Roman Catholic or Greek Catholic, whatever he is, he's supposed to say, forgive your enemy. Or an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Which one are you? You can't have them together. You can't, because the Lord Jesus Christ came and he said, I'm going to change the law, and he changed that. Any other questions? No, thank you. Well, I think the Pope did whatever he had to say. He's not absolving her, and even he has the power to do that, actually, right? He is the communicator between you and... He just mentioned the war, and he mentioned his victim, and she was a victim. So get over it. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.